Hey everybody, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to interview round 3 with Austin from Waterparks.
The
Hey,
interview queen, is that like your tag thing?
it's my little moniker. Since interviewing you, I actually started interviewing wrestlers, so I've been doing that for about 3 or 4 years, working for promotions, so that's my little gimmick now.
Wrestlers. Okay, hang on.
Oh
Now
yeah,
I'm gonna start by asking you some questions.
let's do it.
Okay. One, have you ever met Mankind?
I've actually hosted an open shows for Mankind. Yeah.
Is he okay? What about Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Not yet, but he's on the list. He's definitely on the list.
I'm gonna make shirts that say Austin, but like with mine, like 316, like his thing.
That'd be so dope.
Okay, next question. Who's the scariest wrestler?
Ooh, probably Jake the Snake.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm
Yeah.
not that familiar, but give me a second.
Search him up. He has pretty much the most intimidating promos you can ever see. Plus, he's just like a wrestling badass. So once we're off of here, if you want to like watch some of his old school promos, he literally came out with a snake.
Yeah, no, all his pictures, he's got a snake. Okay,
Yeah.
listen, that's not fair. Like, because the thing is, this other guy's like this other guy's way meatier than him. Like, he's chunky. Like, he's built. And then this guy's just got a snake, and he's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, dude, I wouldn't fight anybody that had a snake.
Nope.
No, this is horrible. Like, that's unfair. That's like, that's stupid. You can't have a prop like that. That's like giving a guy a sword or like letting another guy like, okay, you know what? If there was a wrestler that just like pissed their pants every match,
I wouldn't want to go near him.
That's what I'm saying. So like he would have the advantage. This is a cop out. This is like the equivalent of a Batman superhero type thing where like Batman to me, he doesn't have superpowers. He's not a superhero.
No,
he's just a
human.
hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, you can't just buy your powers and be a superhero. I'm saying you can't just buy a snake and win every match. That's okay. I haven't watched wrestling in a long time.
It's gotten crazy.
I thought they would come out and then be like, go, and they like chairs and stuff. Like,
it's so much storytelling now as well. Like a huge part of it is it being methodical and making sure you get the story across of good guy, bad guy. Like it's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like let's beat the crap out of each other. It's quality entertainment. You should maybe get back into it just for the fun of it. There's a lot.
Okay, so the TV director, the producer, or whatever, was like, the fighting is good. People like fighting.
Yeah.
They also like soap operas. They like
totally.
They like, and so they're like, so tell you what, yeah, we'll bring in romances or whatever, but let's bring in a box. And this guy, he always has a snake with him. This time he doesn't have the snake, but he's got a box. And he's like, hey, put your hand in the box. It's like, and then the people just have to say yes.
I mean, the little secret in wrestling is that stuff's a little predetermined. So it's not like they're going into it not knowing what's in the box or bag. So,
but they're okay with getting bit.
Well, it's interesting. He told me all these stories about traveling with the snake. And he's like, sometimes literally he'd put it in like a tub or something and he'd go to feed it at night and he'd get bit himself. So over the years, he had different snakes because he's been in wrestling for decades and decades.
Then I was going to ask that. I was going to be like, okay, and is it the same snake? Like, because
he had a few different ones.
Like, I feel like you wouldn't really be able to tell that much.
I would not know the difference.
I also wouldn't want to look at it for too long.
I love how we've covered a lot of ground about Jake the Snake here. I feel like we're filling you in. It's all good.
Do wrestlers have Instagrams?
Oh, every single one. Some of these people are like massive, massive celebrities. It is an entire thing.
So one bit that I started doing over quarantine was I've been buying cameos for my friends from like really small wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And I send it to them and it's like very personalized. And so they're like, Otto, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, who the fuck is this?
That's so interesting. I've probably worked with like because I've interviewed like WWE stars to like smaller indie stars. So I'd be so interested there's probably some crossover, really bizarre crossover.
There probably is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go to Cameo and I go to like the I try and keep it within like $10 to $30. I don't want to go.
Right.
I don't want to throw $50 at like a joke that's gonna last like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I should comp together a video of all the cameos I've purchased.
You should.
For everybody.
I would
Because I
definitely check
saved
that
them.
out. Well,
This is a whole other rabbit hole. We
it
should we
totally
should
is.
talk about I'm gonna let you choose what we talk about
I
now.
was going to segue. There's that fine line of like I could talk wrestling all day and then not wanting to be rude and not talk about all the cool stuff you have going on. So the first thing that I know, there's a lot going on in the world of water parks. So the first thing I want to bring
It's
up,
true.
before we dive into all the cool music stuff you have on the horizon, you are a self-coined future reality TV host.
I hope not.
If things go poorly, we have to put the little asterisk there.
If things go really bad, yeah.
If they do. So what kind of show would you want to host?
I would want to host. Okay, let me actually. I've never thought about this. I know. I
never thought of it.
honestly, the thing is, I typed that bio and then I just left it. I don't know. I didn't think about it. Okay, reality hosts. So let's go through the types of reality. So there's like Bachelorette type stuff, Love Island type stuff. I wouldn't do well there because everybody on that show is like 6'5", except for the one token short guy who's like my height. So I'm like, fuck. But I'm like, oh, cool. The guy no one fucking likes because he's fucking 5'10". They're like, nah, too little. I'm like, God damn it. So I wouldn't want to stand next to a bunch of like really tall dudes all the time. You know what could be good is like a Ghost Adventures type show. I would do that. Yeah.
That'd be super fun.
I could do that. See, but I think when I had that thought, I was thinking more along the lines of like a Love Island type. Here, let me see. Reality TV. You know what? I could do like a Survivor type thing as long as I get to live in a
like you have your own little house to the side and you're not with the, all the contestants.
Right. And then I go out to the people and I'm like, sup, are you guys like fucking? Are you mad? Like who's kicked out? What's going on?
That's all what we're thinking behind the scenes when the cameras go off. You know that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you guys like it's like the stinkiest sex. Like there are no showers out there.
Just the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I feel like you could also take it like a food route. If you happen to like food, you can host something like that.
I do.
Super cool. I mean,
I've gotten pretty into cooking over quarantine.
Awesome. What would you say is the best? What would you say is the best dish that you've made?
Ooh, here's the thing. One thing I've started because I've started making a lot of things, but out of necessity. So okay, I grew up in Texas, and I moved to California. Fucking typical, but what I miss so bad is the food. I really do. And so I like when we went back for rehearsals before the US tour, I got the same taco truck like every day because I missed it so bad. Like every day we went there. Yeah. And like it's like Tex-Mex. It's so different for some reason. And yeah, so I've tried a bunch of places out here. I think I tried like 8 different taco trucks, different restaurants, and places that are like, we're Tex-Mex. I'm like, no, you're not. So I actually have perfected the recipe for like the fajitas with like all the right seasonings and everything, like to make the tacos. Awesome. So now I do that like once a week. Actually, I literally went and bought some today. Like I bought all the stuff I need to make it today after I'm done.
That's
with
so funny.
like this kind. Yeah. So I think that's the one I'm like happiest about learning. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. We're learning about food. We're learning about reality TV shows. And now we have to learn a little bit more about Low Key as Hell, because just about 24 hours ago, you shared a brand new music video for the song. And
yeah,
I have to say, I love that flower wall so much. It just looked
Thank you.
Cool. You're very welcome. But I feel like everyone kind of has a little bit of high key and a little bit of low key in them. So which of the two would you say you sway towards more?
What day is it?
What day is it? I believe it's Thursday.
Yeah, like in this No, in this hypothetical.
Talking? Oh, in the hypothetical.
Yeah.
I thought you meant literally. You're having a
also that.
We lose track of time. You're having a good day. You guys just dropped the video. Let's say it's today. Things are going smooth sailing. You're about to have some fajitas later.
Yeah. But it's tough. I feel more high key today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling the energy.
I don't know if it's that simple.
No?
But if I had to subscribe to one in this moment and today, I'm gonna go with high key.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll on that side of it.
I'm feeling the high key, and just keeping to that, it is an exciting time for the band because you will soon release Fandom live in the UK. And this is a
It's
live
true.
album you'll be sharing, which was filmed back in January of this year.
Mhm.
So for you, is it a little bit bittersweet releasing a live record, kind of reminiscing about how fun live shows were and just thinking back to when you actually recorded that in the UK?
Yeah, recording it was strange because it just went by so fast. Like, I mean, shows do go by pretty quickly, like when you're doing them, but that one, I think I was I guess I was like at least aware or like conscious of the fact that there were like 7 cameras. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like weird. I know I can't jump on anybody. I don't want to kick one of these. They're really expensive. It's cool though because like while you get to kind of reminisce and like be like, oh yeah, that was fun. I also wanted to take it in a really different kind of way. And, I didn't want it to just be like, remember this concert? Like I wanted like from like, as it was being like conceptualized and like, each thing was being figured out. Like I wanted every song to feel like a completely different experience.
Okay.
So as far as like, so yeah, I'm sorry. So conceptually, I wanted it to be like an abstract take on the concert experience. You know what I mean? Like, so if a song feels like colder or like kind of darker or whatever, like all the visuals are going to reflect that. And like, there's going to be like a lot of VFX in each song
That's really
that
cool.
kind of like help push that visual along. So while it's like a cool way to kind of look back on what was, it's also, I wanted it to be like a forward thinking kind of release and not just like not necessarily just like a snapshot of a night. You know what I mean?
No, I do. It's cool hearing you talk about it because I can tell how passionate you were about kind of not only being
Yeah.
the front of it, but behind the scenes and having a little bit of that creative freedom. And I did know that this release is pretty special to you because you used to love watching live concert DVDs from other
Yeah.
bands. So whose DVDs did you own? Which bands were they?
Okay, man, I should, I know I need to have my mom or dad or someone send me a picture of all of them because I still have them like in my childhood bedroom.
That's cool.
But so the one I would watch the most, like no question, was Life on the Murder Scene. You know, the Mike M one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How bummed were you, by the way? Just like that tour had to be canceled this year. Like that just broke everyone's heart. Oh.
I know, especially because so when we did our US tour, there was one day we were considering canceling, and like we were considering canceling our show so we could fly to a Mike Kim show and watch it, and then fly back the next day, like across, like I think it was San Antonio, and Mike Kim was playing LA, and Mikey was like, yeah, you like come through and blah blah blah, and we're like, fuck, and we were like really considering it, but yeah, we wound up not letting people down. But
had to be
but
the
that
good
just
guys.
makes it worse. That makes me wish we did go because I was like, oh, we're just gonna see him in like April or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's extra bummer. But so yeah, Mike Kim. I had a couple Taking Back Sunday DVDs. I had the Blink one. I had a Jimmy World one. I had a Census Fail one. I had Motion City Soundtrack, AFI, Coheed and Cambria. Panic at the Disco. I had that Live in Denver box set. What else? I know I had more.
This is just like my childhood, like all those bands wrapped up in one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's the thing is I would just watch those constantly, and I always like wanted to be able to like have a DVD, you know. Oh, and of course Bullet in a Bible, duh. The Green Day one. Yeah. And but yeah, like I like, 'cause I mean I've been playing music since I was like 13. You know, it's immediately just like playing with like any friends who were like, yeah, I play. I'm like, for sure. And no, but I always wanted a DVD because I'd watch everybody. I was like, damn, they're so cool. Fuck. And like they're in a bus and oh my God, they're playing to so many people. And it's funny because there are a couple of the DVDs where I look back and I remember them looking so much bigger.
Really? Well, I guess it's because too, when we're younger, it's like you see these people and they're these musical giants, you kind of idolize them. So I know it sounds almost ridiculous, but there's some truth behind that. So maybe that's why.
Maybe so, because like there are certain ones. Oh, there's a couple I forgot that I'm remembering right now because of this. And I'm like, oh, they like I look back at it now. I'm like, oh, they were only playing to like 400 people in this.
True. And that's huge to you when you're a kid, and that's the dream.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's still big. That's still respectable and everything.
Definitely.
But at the time, I was like, oh my God, this massive show, and they have strobes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so kind of looking back, because I mean, one thing I would do is, and granted, it's hard to compare to like, you know, a stadium DVD by Green Day, but even like while it was being kind of, you know, like in the early stages, I was looking at everybody else's DVDs and being like, okay, like I like this, but I don't like this. I like this, but you know what I mean? Like picking what I thought were like the strengths, so we could like, you know, and then also like look at things I don't like necessarily. Like it's easier when you can see examples, because then you know what to avoid easier.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like when I go into interviews, when I first started the wrestling stuff, I would watch other interviewers, or trying to remember ones I watched growing up and think, okay, I really love what they're doing. I'd like to emulate that. Or you'd see someone do something that was cringy and you're like, okay, I'm going to stay away from that. So it's cool when you can look at things and not copy them, but take more inspiration and then kind of make it your own. So it's neat to see like full circle for you there.
Yeah, it's good. I'm ready to hold a physical copy. That's what I'm like, because that's the thing. When you do stuff like, especially in music, music's not tangible. Like I can't pick this up and be like, ah, yes, I did this. I made this song. You know what I mean? And so it's one of my favorite parts of doing a project is getting to hold the physical version at the end. Because I'm just like, this is the thing we made. It's like, this is the thing. I'm like materialistic like that. And so, yeah, I'm very ready. I'm trying to get like a test copy, because like I designed the packaging too. And so as soon as I can hold that, I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah. And it's like shiny and stuff too. So it's gonna be good.
That's awesome. Well, there was something that I caught the other day, which was a tweet which caught my eye, and it was literally, "I can't stand Waterparks," all in caps, of course, signature caps.
Yes.
And that was actually something that you guys tweeted out. That wasn't something random in my feed. So with all the new releases, music, videos coming out, have you been just getting a lot of interesting comments thrown your way? Because I know that it happens all of the time, and I assume especially with your growth and how big you guys have become, that must be a daily thing that happens.
So it's actually gotten a lot easier for me to not look at things. Like, so what I used to do was I mean, of course, like read all our mentions, you know what I mean? And even there, people, like, even if they don't mean to, they can say weird shit to you. Or it's like kind of backhanded and they don't mean to. It's like, dude, European people are like that. Like like in like Germany, you know what I mean? They'll be like, I remember after one of our first German shows, you know, we'd go out and like meet everybody. And they were like, I didn't think I was going to like you, like based on like how you looked, but it was pretty good. I'm like,
thanks.
Like, fuck you. What? Like, I'm like, cool, man. Like, oh yeah, so back to the thing. So it's what I used to do though. I leveled it up. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna look at what people are saying, because I mean, I was thinking a lot about how input can like psychologically kind of affect you, and having so much of it just isn't good, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, because if it's all bad, then you're just gonna feel like shit. If it's all good, you kind of like. Yeah, and you kind of like buy into it, and then when everybody inevitably kind of like turns on you for whatever like trivial thing, it like hurts even worse, and you're like, oh, like I didn't like. It's a thing where it's kind of like if you don't put stock in it at any point, even when it's good, then it doesn't like affect you as much when like if it changes or if those people like move on or like say some weird shit or so. I've gotten better about. Oh yeah, so where I was going with that, sorry. I used to, I was like, okay, you know what? If you're going to look at mentions, you have to look at indirects. Like to see everything. So I'm like, what's the point in only seeing the good? True. And so then I would see everything and I'd be like, huh, I just got an hour's worth of input. You know what I mean? And like, you'd feel weird. And like over time that like affects you, you know what I mean? It like changes how you think about things.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And so I think, I mean, especially over the last few months, I've stopped looking at that stuff, which is good. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't remember what the question was at all, but I've gotten better about not looking at that. Because it's better if you could just do your thing. And like, if you like, that's the thing is like, if you know it's good, then that's just what it is. Like, as long as you know what you're trying to do and it's a very clear thing and it is great, then it kind of just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, like you have to be able to be confident in what you're doing. Otherwise, especially if it's your main thing, like me with music, like if I wasn't like, it's not like a cocky thing, but if I wasn't confident in it, then it would be like, I would be second guessing things. I'd be taking in other people's opinions so much. And like, at a certain point, you're not even doing what you would do. You know what I mean?
No, it's very valid.
There's not really like a point in absorbing that much stuff. You just have to, and again, it's a struggle, and it's not like 0% looking at things. Cause I do, you know, like when we dropped the music video, I was like looking at mentions and responding to people who are doing like, you know, posting the video and stuff. But yeah, it's
a necessary evil, but I try to avoid it as much as possible. But then at the same time, I have to look through stuff because I want to interact with people and like say thank you or retweet the fun stuff. So it's a very strange position to be in. So the last thing I want to ask you about, just speaking to the comments and the mentions, is what would you say is one of the most bizarre or funny or strange things you have read about yourself online?
Oh boy. Let's see.
We got the wheels turning.
Yeah. That I've read about myself. I mean, there have been times I'm trying to think of ones that aren't like super annoying. There have been times where people have like claimed that I was like very like mean or said like these like rude things. I'm like, I didn't do that. What the fuck are they talking about? Like, they're like, yeah, I met him and I said, I love your band, and he scoffed or something. I was just like, I would never, that's not like, what do I gain from that? Like, fuck. Let me think though. I like that, let's see.
I feel like you have a lot running through your mind right now, but you're like, which ones to say?
Yeah. You know, like there's one thing that stuck with me that was really funny was, and this one, I don't know why, but since like 2012, this comment stayed with me on like one of our first videos. Like it was like I think our very first song was just like, oh, we recorded this in a garage. Here you go. Pop. And the thing is, I mean, no shade, anything like that. I just never listened to this band, but there was a comment that was like, this band wouldn't even exist without System of a Down. And I was like, what? Like, we sound nothing like that. What are you talking? It's not even like shade. It's just so like, sometimes people say shit that's so crazy that it stays with you.
Because you try to wrap your mind, like I love System of a Down and have like, and your band. So when I compare the two, like I wouldn't even think it's in the same realm of.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it? It can't be the voice. They don't really do
nothing.
Like the programming that I like do. We don't write the same ways. Like,
no,
what? But sometimes when things are so insane that you can't justify them, they stay with you. Yeah. That was a pretty funny one.
That's a good one. I love how you're like, back in 2012, like that is a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It stayed with me. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to say thank you so much for coming back on here, taking the time to hang out. It was so lovely being able to talk about all the exciting stuff you have going on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for doing it. And I will see you in the future for round 4.
Yes, absolutely. Fingers crossed. Everyone
Yes.
watching, this has been Austin from Waterparks. And of course, be sure to not only check out interview 1 and 2, but check out aliciatout.com for even more exclusive interviews and features. We'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.